All right, it turns out a lot of you guys are digging our stuff. We get more donations every day, and we are wildly thankful for that. And when I say we, I of course mean the full team. Right. We haven't gotten around to introducing everyone. That won't do, okay? I'm going to take a minute and introduce you to the rest of the team and possibly get some petty revenge for the whole stress-o-meter thing. First off, let's talk about Mystic. You guys know what they say, right? Those who can, do. Those who can't, teach. Well, it turns out there's one more. Those who can't do either yell about deadlines. Mystic is the head man, the big boss, the one that keeps us from turning the company into a pumpkin by accident. Granted, this has taken its toll on him, and he's become a bit strange as of late. I mean, there's a line between liking the concept of servbots and forming a totemic relationship with them. But as long as he gets chicken for lunch, he manages to even himself out. Mystic has always had a flair for gamesmanship, though. He's an engineer by trade, although it is commonly believed that he has always fostered a secret desire to be a game show host. Most of us have played some variation on a TV game show for our birthdays because Mystic loves to watch people dance for their supper. Trust me on this one. Still, in our native state, most of us would be spinning in our chairs or working on projects for way down the line while current ones drift by, so Mystic keeps us in line. He could compete at the collegiate level at the sport of cat herding, and we try to keep him sharp. You know who you really need to trust when it comes to an RPG? No, not Square Enix. I mean who on the development team is the most responsible for the story. Yep, next up is Vinny. Vinny is our writer. You could tell that she's excellent at her job because she didn't write this section. Vinny is deeply, proudly Slavic, and will on rare occasion go into a mythology lesson that is both informative and totally unexpected. Occasionally, we'll catch her staring off into the middle distance forlornly, and we're almost certain it's the call of the old country coming through. Then again, she could just be listening to Les Mis on her earbuds. We really can't tell. She is an avid gamer, though, and when she gets upset at a game, it is almost doctrine to leave the room, by defenestration if necessary. Needless to say, she has a way with language, stemming from the fact that she knows many of them. In fact, she knows them professionally. It makes remarkably crisp dialogue, as not many words are wasted, and honestly, if she weren't the funniest one of us, then we would have tabled this company pretty early on. So, with a leader and a writer, you can see we have the serious makings of a mighty game studio. But there's one thing that any real game studio needs, aside from talent. A real game studio needs a cheap source of labor to take all of their grief. Yes, ladies and gentlemen and gorillas, I give you Elias. Elias is our intern. What that basically means is that he has to find a way to get coffee to everyone on our team, and a few of us are hundreds of miles away from the rest. He has taken up this task with admirable gusto, and you can barely even hear the tears from under the door anymore. No, but really, he's bulletproof and shameless, which is exactly what we need. He also doesn't seem to need food, which is a big check for unpaid labor. He is currently interning with us for school credit, and will soon be old enough to help celebrate how well our game is doing. Donate! Donate! Sorry about that. Elias handles a bit of everything. He fills in where we need him, creates impressive sprite work. He is also very interested in martial arts, and while that hasn't come into play yet in any real and measurable way, it's nice to know that someone on staff can crescent kick. He is a true Renaissance man, and one day he hopes to own his own Zeppelin. So, after you have actually a game in its entirety, you need someone special, someone who, without going into too much detail, will do anything to get word of the game out. Someone with a high tolerance for the public and, oh, hell, it's me. Okay, let's do this. I'm Cap, and I am made of pure caffeine and pop culture references. I'm a huge Warren Ellis fan, and that is part of the reason why they don't let me do any of the writing on the lighthearted games. The other reason is because they want me to be in front of the camera, since I make a fairly good shield for tomatoes and hurled beer bottles. I'm doing the lion's share of my job right now. Actually, when it was 2 a.m. a few days ago, and I got my first very strong cup of chai, that was the lion's share of my job. I also advise members on the team on how not to eat potential detractors, though I'm certain that one member of the team not yet listed may actually be able to fully unhinge their jaw, like a snake. I also do additional voices, and I like to gargle beforehand. Anything in a single malt will do. And when we need well-aged scotch, tickets for a sold-out venue, or an almost new computer, we call on one man, Hobbs. Hobbs is our troubleshooter. I am uncertain if he has any formal contacts in the criminal underworld, but he won't say, and I don't dare ask again. If you know Hobbs, you probably owe Hobbs. He's a lot like the Godfather that way, and it's actually way better than the Godfather since he has 3 birthdays, so that's a bunch of wishes. His favorite tool is a Chinese army shovel, and he is really the... Hold on a second, hold on. What do you mean he's not that kind of troubleshooter? You just don't know Hobbs. Right. Well, for the purposes of thoroughness, Mr. H will henceforth be referred to by what he does in regards to the process. He steps up, handles quality control issues, takes on overflow workload, and takes care of our problems. Oh, come on, man. Look at the smile. He has a smile like Metal Gear Rex. He is the man who has no fear. Okay. I've been advised by Eric Clowder that my opinions do not in any way represent our company. And I asked him why they let me do the audio logs to represent our company. At the moment, he's staring at Mystic, who is apologizing. Clowder is our map guy. In an RPG, the scope and detail of the world becomes a character in and of itself. Clowder keeps that character from being vacuous or banal. He also has a law degree and can advise people not to imply co-workers have mafia ties. And now I seem to have a message from Mystic. Anyway, Clowder has a deep-seated passion for comic books, a nearly eidetic memory of music, and a respect for style. He also makes us maps, which means that when we change part of the story, he's usually the one doing most of the work. Because of his resigned acceptance to this fact, he has been nicknamed Eeyore by the staff. And I'm not just sharing that because of the seminar I now have to attend. Finally, there's a man who makes it all work on a computer. Our programmer, Xavier. Xavier builds robots. I don't know what else I can say about him that is going to top that, so if you excuse me, I'm going to get a sandwich. Okay, I'm back after Hobbs emailed me a picture of a 16-bit horse's head. Anyway, Xavier spends his free time collecting chessboards, non-chessboard items, and playing Team Fortress. He's also builds freaking robots. Conversation over. Alright? For our team, it's Xavier that turns things from concept to reality. He's the person who locks in and slams it all out, all the hard work that most of us could not even begin to help with. Seriously, does it seem like Mystic can program? No. No, Xavier's who we go to for that. Huh? Yeah, that's us, honestly. Thank you again for donating, and be ready for the next update. And if you haven't donated yet, well, you better. Otherwise, Hobbs.